Thursday, but we wanted to do a special little collaborative space for all our friends out there and to kind of talk all things politics, right? Talk about what's going on, the craziness in the world. Doesn't need to be specifically politics, but kind of just getting together, to see what happens here. This is pretty monumental, pretty high impact with the crypto space. So let's see what happens. But, anyways, I'm joined by my panelists here. We have Feltz. We also have Anthony from the. Let me get you a co-host spot. There we go. Moon Daddy, I'm probably gonna have you talk for a little bit of this because I need to grab some water. I just came off of a 4-hour show, so gotta get a little hydration going here. But yeah, be joining you shortly. But Moon Daddy just sent you that request. Let me try to send it again in case it didn't send.
Oh no, I got it, brother. How you doing, man?
Hey, doing good, man. Doing good. Excited to see what happens tonight. This will be interesting.
Yeah, us in the states, man. Well, I'm not in the states right now, but I'm a U.S. citizen, and we're biting our nails. But we won't keep it super political. We'll kind of touch on it, but it's all about the Shogun and the Kulo, baby. Shogun is a really cool token. I got into it through my man Rip, and it's sitting at 2.5 million. But if you look at the chart and you look at the holder count, it's what I call like a boutique token, which has hella potential. I really like those types of communities that are smaller, that have a lot of potential to pump. And you look at the consistency of the chart, that's what's really bullish to me. And I'm pretty well invested, man. And Rip's a good man, and he's running the project really well. So awesome times, man. Excited, excited.
Let's go. Let's go. So I think it's a perfect time to introduce the Shogun side of things, Trader Max again, and Anthony. Why don't you guys introduce yourself a little bit? Maybe who's behind the PFP? How did you guys become part of the Shogun team? And what do you love about it?
Hey, thanks, Coolio, for letting us be here. Moon Daddy, what's up, my man?
What's up,
We
brother?
are, we are, I guess, just a group of people. Rip and I are martial artists in that world. We've been building this coin out now for about 3 months. Just fired off our coin 2 months, about a month ago, a month and 4 days. We're all about the honor integrity of our market and what we're trying to build and building an ecosystem that will, especially just in Solana for right now, building out our services and systems. We were a service network before we're a coin. We run that community, and what Moon Daddy was saying about us being, short-lived on the holder side of it is because we have a lot of diamond ball people in our system. So the majority of the coin is owned by the team. When I say the majority, I mean above 80%, because we believe so much into this network and our services that we'll topple that 30 million, 30, 40 million in no time with what we have coming out.
That's awesome. So, it's funny. I was just on the show that I run every day, and we were talking about supply control. For those guys that don't know, I mean, supply control is bullish as heck, like really, really bullish, but only for teams that show that they're building, that they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Otherwise, it's the worst thing in the world. So to hear that you guys are grinding, you have that supply control, what that tells me is it's kind of an invite. It's an invite to people to say, hey, if you're looking for this type of project, this is one that you can maybe find a little safety in. And here on the Kulo side, we're kind of in a similar situation, but with our with our whales, right? These are core
Yeah.
holders that have believed in us on the Kulomatic side. They picked up good bags on dips to be able to support on Kulo ETH, and they're up some nice profit. But they're not satisfied with a couple $1,000s in profit. They're here for the million. So that's
Yeah.
the cool thing when you have people that really believe. But on the service side, right? What does that look like for new projects kind of onboarding in? Like, what are some benefits that maybe you would really want to let people know that projects can take advantage of?
Yeah, that's a great question. I appreciate that because it is tough in the industry to compare to others. Um, First off, we try never we're never a race to the bottom with any of our services. So any pricing that we have, we offer value over the cost of finance for us. I'd rather see coins be successful and us partake in them than charge a bunch of money and us be successful and nobody else will be. So the first thing we do is we try to find any system that we can provide for free. I owned a network of website builders and systems that house marketing tools and calendars and social planners and everything else, we call Shogun WebForge, which is just a SaaS system, right? So it's a software as a service. And that's sort of already that's already paid for, right, for me because I have another marketing firm behind it. So I figured why not just offer that service to all these coins for free? We build the relationship, we build the network, we find out what they need, they help us find more stuff. We then knew that we had to build some sort of trading market system where people can come in and trade and use like swap stuff, as well as communities to make money, right? So you're right. Coin owners, they want to make money, but you also have to find other systems for them and then training them to do that. So we have software, we have systems, we have training, we have farm systems, we have educational systems on how to like do pre-sales and get your coin back in control and that kind of stuff. So our service is really about our knowledge and our systems that we know that we can trust. And we're now finding that we have to build all this by hand, which is good because it's in our control, just like our supply. But that's basically our service network solution there.
Very interesting. So, like, without getting too much in the weeds,
Sure.
this just feels like to me something that would be beneficial to obviously Web3 native people, but especially to like people wanting to get into Web3 that are worried about scams or getting ripped off or whatever. So are you guys venturing out on that side of things yet, or what are the plans there?
Yeah, we have a few normie people that come in, right? Just from our friends and family. We're cutting our teeth on teaching them, right? To speak the DGen language and not feel like we're just talking another language. But we work with the proof's in the pudding is the eating, as they say, right? So, you got to practice what you preach. You got to stand up and be who you are, but you also you got to be sincere. You got to build relationship with people, not just, oh, we're all going to the moon. So we don't have this pie in the sky look. We're strong. We know how strong we are because we've been through the hurt. We've been through the mud. So we know what it's like. So we speak their language. As soon as they come in the door, they know who we are. Right. So when you get people who come in and everybody's working and doing their thing and everybody has a place and our structure, our chart speaks volumes. I mean, if you look at our chart, it's consolidation, consolidation. Every one of those phases is a working phase. There's no down. There's literally hardly, and on a 4-hour chart, there's not a single downtrend. They have these tiny little small bumps in here and there, but nothing serious. So it's all about the work. And that's what it really comes down to. So they see that as soon as they meet with us.
Nice, nice. And I see some more people joining in, guys. Welcome in. We
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do kind of like a fun little collaborative space. We like to recognize teams that are building and aren't afraid to put in hard work, like we've been doing the last 11 months. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but this is rare to see this, guys. This is very rare. So, if we can help, uh, you know, bring visibility to projects that are doing good, then we want to do that as much as possible. And there's cross pollination, right? So I've
Oh yeah.
already seen people joining from Shogun into the Kulo, TG. I've heard of, vice versa as well. So it's cool. This is how we learn in crypto. So just wanted to, add that pretense there. But
Yeah. Thanks, man.
that's really interesting, man. So let's talk about the token then. I don't think we really went into it last time. You guys were kind of guests on our spaces, right? Here
Mm-hmm.
we can you can dive in a little bit more. So
Oh, cool.
what does it look like to hold the token? Is there benefit within the ecosystem? How does it tie in?
That's another great. You're really good at this, and I appreciate that because I've been in spaces for a lot, and I've seen bad questions and good questions. And they're all good. You're diming this right off the bat. The coin itself, and I hate to say this on live air, right? It doesn't really matter to me in a way. It matters to me that we have it and that it has structure, but the coin is not the moneymaker. The coin is the ticket. It's the beginning part of your relationship. It's the ride for you. It's like you got to be this tall to get onto this coin kind of mentality. So what it is, we have a whole backstream of ecosystem that is our, I'll say our utility revenue share. So we have an ecosystem that's set out in three. There's the top five, which is myself, Rip, Amy, and Andrew, and we have one position open. We had somebody in there in the beginning, so we made it the top five, but we're leaving that space open until we find the right fit. There's a group of the 20, and these are our leaders, our counselors, our council themselves. They're all samurai, and that meant keeping the analogy of the Shogun mentality. And then we have the group of the 100. These are our workhorses. These are our down degens out there every day raiding and spading and kicking its ass, doing their thing. and every one of them gets a revenue share utility, not from the coin. Now remember, the negative connotation that comes from revenue share networks out there is all bullshit. It's like Ponzi scheme. But this is all of the service profit that we get from all the services that we do. So like the transactional fees that come from our trading bots or our volume bots or our systems out there, we take that and we split that up into different shares amongst all of those people, of those 125. And if you look at our holders, we only have about 200 something holders, and 50 of those wallets are the main wallet, scrapping up all the supply that we have to make sure that it's protected. So, we have about 125, 130 people that are just in there digging in deep. And we do have retail traders in there, of course. Every coin does, but that's basically it. The coin is more of a ticket to ride. And the life behind it is working the services, getting the programs up, getting them exposed, and making some money on the side. Plus our farm has turned out to be a hell of a ticket to ride as well. It's really working well on the farming side for us. We know all about impermanent loss and that structure, so we really structured it for it, and it's been great.
I love it. I love it. Some questions there, but I did want to welcome in our resident bringer of levity into the space, Shiny D. Welcome in, living in paradise. How you doing, Shiny?
Bringer of levity, dude. I got a new fucking slogan for
Was that good?
bio.
You like that?
How do you
You
ever
can keep that.
live up to such
You can
a
keep that.
grand aura?
The bringer of levity. Hey man, look, I'm just no script here, just going off what I'm feeling. So bringer of levity, that was the title.
Yeah,
for
right,
today.
dude. You've been planning that for days.
I literally was not. I ran into this space realizing I had 5 minutes left to jump in. So, but I appreciate that. No, so
at the very least, Chat GPT prompt. At the very least.
That's too funny.
I'm using Google instead. I can't afford ChatGPT. But anyways, besides that, let me ask you, Shani. I know you just jumped in. Don't mean to ambush you with this question here, but we're talking kind of the service side of tokens, right? So bringing utility that kind of matters. That's what Shogun's here to do. Educate as well, and also do some supply control. I kind of just wanted to ask on your side of things. I know you're deep in the weeds on meme coins. You see them every single day. You have a great show. What have you seen when it comes to utility projects that really clicks? Like, I know you've seen those too. What do you think they get right that maybe we can kind of tell the audience a little bit about?
Are we talking about pure utility projects, or like memes with utility?
They can be a blend. Yeah, it can be a blend.
Well, I think Murad touched on it really well, that either way, whether you're doing a meme or you're doing utility, building that kind of community that surrounds it, that's always going to be key, right? You could have the best utility in the space. If you don't have a community talking about it or pushing it, it doesn't really matter, right? And then there's the counter to it, right? Like if you're a pure meme coin product and you are pushing utility, and you always got to think, am I advertising this as utility, or am I advertising it as a meme, right? Because sometimes when you're advertising things for utility, there can be the nature for the community to step back and let kind of the utility and the roadmaps the devs do the pushing. So if you are going that angle with using utility, you have to have really fucking good utility, because when you're rocking something like a meme, it's just speculation. No one knows it's coming. But when you're rocking something like utility, okay, you really got to back this up. And now all of a sudden the success of your project can depend on the success of the utility.
Yeah, well said. And again, this is a kind of a cross-pollinating combo, right? So we're going to be talking Culo, we're going to be talking about Shogun, but at least on the Culo side, we are kind of blending, right? Well, obviously we're blending. We're booty cheeks on a PFP. Come on, guys, right? It's a meme first. But our slogan is more than a meme, which is why I like to ask. I like to get those, different kind of mindsets, because you're 100% right, and we know this inherently. If you're releasing a utility that is a copycat of something that does it better, nobody will care. No matter how much you shout about it, honestly, no matter how much money you put behind it, nobody cares. So for us, our leading utility that really matters is Culo Swap. Why does it matter? You can use Uniswap. You can use, Radium, whatever you want. But we're a cross-chain aggregated swap. We're getting you the best fees across all EVM chains that are supported. And then soon, we're even going to be adding in the ability to go from Solana, i.e. non-EVM, to EVM at the cheapest possible fees. So this is pretty cool. Also completely whitelisted as well. So not everyone can get in, and that's on purpose. We don't want you trading shitcoins on our swap, right? It's already high risk enough being in the microcap space, right? Sub 10 mil, sub 100 mil. We want to make sure it's projects we have a relationship with, like Shogun, right? Now, on the topic of votes, with it being election day today, pretty big deal. You're here in the States. I wanted to bring a question to you, Shogun. When it comes to mobilizing your community, it sounds like you have a great, base there. You even have, kind of a strata of, different titles people have, which is really cool. How are you mobilizing votes? How do people get a say in the future of the project?
That's another good question. Well, one of the things that we created in the very beginning is a relationship with our people by communication. Like, it's not just through Telegram. When I first started in the space about 6 months ago, I was told nobody's ever going to fill out a forum. Nobody wants to do email. Nobody wants to dox themselves. Well, that's not necessarily true anymore, because at the moment, nobody wants to get ripped off anymore or scammed anymore. So they want to tell you who they are so that you can make a relationship with them. And that's what we do. We put them into our network for the SaaS program that's back there. We have a database of people that we work with, that we know who they are. And when we have to put out information to them, we relay it through either through the email system or through our Telegram space system as well. The workship that happens is more on where, it's up to them to be a part of it. They're not working for a bag. Like the old way of thinking was, hey, I go in, I work for a bag. I hope one day I can get rid of it, or I hope I can sell it. But we know that's not going to happen. Most coins, pump the bags for the top people to get out, or for just somebody to farm you every goddamn day. So with the idea that it's to work for your residual, to work for your revenue coming in is powerful. So people want to show up to it. So you got to give them the will to be there. So part of that communication is giving them a reason why they want to work and what they're working really for. And it's not a bag. It's I hate to say it's like a job. I don't like it to make it a wage cage, but it's definitely something more. It's than just, a day-to-day dump and pump kind of mentality.
I mean, it has to become, a cult, really,
Basically. I mean, I hate to say, but that's what the Shogun is. Come here, I'll cut off your head kind of thing, but
exactly, instead of putting on the cloak, you're, getting the katana and putting it on your side, right?
Exactly.
It sounds a little cooler too, but I would rather have a sword than a robe. I can go to my restroom and get a robe, right? So, okay, but I think that's cool, because you do have to you have to have buy-in. I think that's what it boils down to. You have to have buy-in, and the buy-in can come in the form of, hey, I want to put my bags in the traditional way, but that gets a little tired. And when the market's down, when something goes wrong, because something inevitably always goes wrong in some capacity, it's inevitable in crypto, you have to have a resilient base. If they're only working for their bags, that is a thin thread, and it will get snipped quite quickly.
And that's one thing we had to make sure in the very beginning was not to do that, not to throw that vibe that out there. Come and work for your bags, the same old LFG to the moon bullshit. That just didn't work. It worked in the beginning, in like the beginning of the cycle, but not now, even in this short period of time, because there's too much fakeness behind it.
Yep, exactly. And that's part of like the vapidness that I think ruins this space of too many people being jaded, and for good reason. Like in this room right now, I guarantee you about 90% of the people have been scammed by a token that was promising Moon Boy everything. Guys, we're going to take it to the moon. It's going to be 100 million. It's going to be 1 billion. Just wait. Watch. You're going to feel so stupid. All the tired and used up things. And we're just tired. We're tired. So to really embrace something different is needed. It's definitely needed, but you have to vet these teams. And that's why, whenever we're talking on spaces, what is the common thread that we're talking about, guys? Any of the folks from the Culo side, we're always talking about look for teams that are vetted, look for teams that are grinding, look for docs teams. Not a prerequisite, but sometimes it helps, right? Like all these different things are going to be indicators that you look for. So I wanted to kind of turn it again, to the community side. What have you seen maybe the biggest wins on the community side? Because it sounds like you've cultivated a really, really cool way of organizing this. What's the output? What has the output been thus far on the community side?
I think it's not so much what it's been, what it hasn't been, right?
Okay.
The knee jerk response that comes when you get a red candle, or when you get a position of FUD, like somebody comes in and FUDs. There's like, and not an instant response like, we're gonna chop your head off. Well, we do have the scammer hammer. Don't get me wrong, we love that one. Somebody comes in, wants to shill something, and you hit them with the hammer, and it's in the thing. It's a big joke inside our network. But and the next value from that is Rip cutting somebody's head off and showing a video of him, out there and with his body out there. But the concept for us and what we've seen, what really works, is is the transparency. It's the biggest one, right? Like in the beginning, we had a few people who flooded the chart right in the very beginning, who left, who faded right away. We're like, you own 80% of the coin. There's no way this is going to work, and they were out. These were people that were in our pre-sale, which was a hard one to sell in the beginning. But once everybody's seen what we were doing and heard what we were doing, again, transparency, honesty, empathy, the real talk that you have to have with people. It's not easy. It's easy to fake for short periods of time, but not for as long as we've been doing it. It's hard to be real for a very long time and be fake. You can't be fake and real at the same time. It just doesn't work. And from our point of view, what we see our community doing in response is bringing the real talk, the not the FUD, but hey, look, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. There's real intent to perform on the coin and the network itself. So.
Oh man, no, that's great to hear. It's just I'm hearing so many parallels, right? And I wanted to turn to Moon Daddy, bringer of the moon. If you could, if you could tell us a little bit on your thoughts, because I know we've been in this journey together 11 plus months. We've seen how the Kulo community has grown and how we've experienced a lot of that similar sentiment that we just heard from Shogun, from people not believing to then believing big time, and then what's next kind of thing. So what are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I think our journey, close to a year now, we've attempted to, work with multiple projects. We try to be open, but you have to be extremely careful, right? I'll be the first to admit we made some mistakes, right? And over the time, the course of a year, you're going to make some mistakes. No, none of the mistakes really killed us, but we had a definite, by collaborating with some projects, we took some hits. It's just the truth, as always. And I agree with what Trader was saying. Transparency has to be the meta, right? You have to be transparent, and a lot of these projects, you don't, just like, it's a huge risk, I would say, but I really appreciate it to say, we have 80% of the supply, right? That's somewhat risky, but when I hear it's transparency, right? That's important to know. What I hear is that safety, right? You don't have the supply in the hands of people that will trade it, right? Again, you look at their chart, it's consistent. It's consistent, and that's where I put my money. I try to find projects, but they're diamonds in the rough. It's very difficult to find these projects. And then the guys, founders that are disciplined, they work within martial arts, which I kind of was raised within that world, and it creates extreme discipline that you can transfer to day-to-day activities, and your overall ideology is really based in discipline. That's what Asian culture really is, and I think we need to see more of it. And that's something that really attracted me to the project. I don't even think Rip knows that about me. I just recently, I seeked out one of the top tattoo artists here in Brazil. It took me a year and a half to get an appointment, but I have a huge samurai on my right forearm, and it's my favorite tattoo. I have about 12 tattoos, but I have it, and I seeked it out to remind myself of being disciplined every day, right? Discipline is what drives success, right? And consistency, obviously. And those are attributes I see within, the Shogun token. And we're being very selective with who we work with. And I'm very encouraged to find a project like Shogun. And there are parallels in regards to how we operate, and our path and our journey, that we've had over almost a year now. And it's exciting going into a bull run. I think something that comes with discipline is patience as well. Like Warren Buffett says, for an investor, it's really funds moving from the impatient to the patient. That's really what this is. People will get impatient, they'll sell their bag, and someone else will scoop it up. and it's just that simple. And it'll continue to multiply and gain, over time. But you have to have patience, and I think I think these projects, Kulo and Shogun, have those attributes that investors want to be in, not necessarily traders, but investors that are looking for long-term gains and a project that you can round trip multiple times. Kulo obviously hit 49 million. That was in March, and I'm pretty sure we'll do it again. But we armed ourselves to be on multiple chains. A chain that has 90% more volume, which we launched on an ETH 2 weeks ago. That's a value add. A lot of people still don't understand it, but it was a move we had to make. Matic migrated from Pole from Matic to Pole, and it has a lot of new tools and interoperability and sharing of liquidities across multiple chains. But it takes time, right, for that to kick in. And for us, when you drop down from you have a 90% correction, which most big projects do, right? If people look at historical data, that happens. That's pretty much the norm, right? But if you stay at that 90% correction, that's a major problem. But at Kula, we're not. That's not our goal or mission or the trajectory we're on. We're slowly, methodically building, but at the same time, I think the pace is something that should be encouraging for KOLs that we're bringing on, the foundation that we built. There are a lot of reveals that we haven't even talked about. But yeah, man, the parallels are there, and that's why we're here. And I think it's very exciting times, and the future is bright, regardless of who gets in office. That's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I think the trajectory is faster with you know the Orange Man and with Kamala. Who knows? But eventually, the economy has to kick in. It will kick back in, and retail will come in droves. It's a reason why Mastercard, Visa, all the top banks have patents to hold and be custodians of crypto. It's a reason for it. Fidelity, with the largest retirement accounts in the U.S., there's a reason why they're in crypto. They're custodians of crypto, and the ETFs. It's a reason for these things, right? It should be a signal for where crypto's going, right? I received letters from two of my banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, about 6 months ago. They said, yeah, you can't buy crypto with your debit card or credit card. But then 3 months later, I saw patents for them to be custodians, and they're building their own kind of blockchain compatible systems. So that's pretty interesting, and it really tells the trajectory of the space that we love and we're proponents of.
Yeah, and just kind of threading it back here, right? We all know what it was like to be brand new into crypto. I mean, as a quick aside, right? I got seriously into crypto in 2021. I looked at the market and I was like, whoa, that ETH that I bought back in 2018 is going crazy now. And my next question, instead of hitting sell, was why? Why is it going parabolic? I don't understand why. And I educated myself. And the first place I turned to was YouTube. And I said, what is crypto? Okay. Because I knew about ETH a little bit. Like it was like, okay, the internet of the blockchain kind of thing, I guess. Okay. That sounds kind of cool. And I understood Bitcoin a little bit. But then I started opening up to all these altcoins, and of course, what pops up first? These flashy banners, next token to do a 10,000x. It hasn't changed at all, by the way, guys. Like the same clickbait that you would see back in 2021 is the same clickbait you see now, just with different graphics as the default packs on Canva. That's all. But that's what people are seeing. So if we can catch them first in these different sectors, right? More meme focused with good utility that matters on the Kulo side with a legacy team. On the Shogun side, having a great community, having utilities that matter as well, and really taking that approach to basically educate projects to do better and do better for their people, then you really start to create a nice pipeline. And what's an interesting thing too on the project creation side? I know this because I cover projects every single day. I interview projects, 20 projects a day. That's what I just got finished doing right before this. There's a lot of people that go from being an investor to being now a project owner. It happens sometimes within the same week. They're like, I could do this better. Let me launch my own project. And then sure enough, it's a failure, but then they learn and they launch better and better. And hopefully they learn pretty quick because it's people's money at stake, right? But the reason why I'm saying this is if you have proper tools to get there faster and learn from other people's mistakes, you're going to be a better project owner. So I wanted to turn it back to Shogun, right? Um, Talking about kind of the discovery and the education, um, like you said, you have to, maybe overcome initial hurdles of getting people to sign up, getting people to, utilize some of the tools. But even in the chat, like for someone novice that's coming in for the first time, um, what does that look like? Like what is your education modality for most of these people? Is it just raw mentions through messages? Do you guys do a lot of spaces? I see you guys all over on spaces, so
Oh, yeah.
maybe that, but tell us a little bit there.
Yeah. So for the most part, I've been teaching people something in one form or another for 30 years. And I own a dojo. I've taught people how to trade, how to make radio stations. I was in radio for a long time. I built 5 multi-million-dollar companies. So I've been doing something and teaching somebody. I probably have 20,000 fucking videos I've made. I believe in teaching people through that videozation because people are too. And again, when I see stuff out there written by people and it's like long drawn out explanations in type, I lose so much interest. It's not even funny. I can't learn that way. Give me a YouTube video and I'm on board. I can make anything with that, right? So I think for us in this first phase, it was get the people that we got that already know and sort of educate them how we want to build and educate the mentality rather than just the brain of learning a new task, but just this is how we do it. This is how we build relationship. This is how we build within that space. But it just didn't come right away. I had to come into this space 6 months ago and I interviewed all kinds of people. I mean, all different types of networks, coins, community stuff, utility companies, everybody who was in this space. I interviewed hundreds of people, sometimes online and sometimes just by asking a bunch of questions. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of forget too. It's okay to ask questions when you come into a space. If you don't know, just say it and we'll help you figure it out. But we have an entire back system called Shogun WebForge. That's our learning system back there called the Dojo. And it is being set up, and we already have most of it set up. But I wanted to know from them what they needed to learn first. So before I could go out and expect me to go out and teach everybody everything about crypto, because we can't do that right away, is to teach what people really need. And so we gathered a lot of information from them, and we started to build the videozation behind the scenes behind the network. And that way, when people come in, they go into like an orientation and they figure out where they need to be. Later on in retail objects for us, that it will also do that. We'll also be able to bring in normies with that mentality, and put them through a cycle, and don't do it prematurely. Just throw them into the wolves and go start investing. Later on, our system will help people navigate itself. Like there's a lot of automation in there. But again, the community drive of, what we're doing and what we're partying with and because we still want to have fun, right? We don't want just to turn this in an everyday grind and bind kind of thing. But it is the education. It is the relationship. It is the love for this business and what we do. And it is. I really appreciated the level of sincerity with all of the people that I work with, especially the top 5 and the top 20. And now with this top 100 network just we've put like 50 people in it the last week. It's just been amazing.
I don't really think we took time to go down that part. How did you find these other folks that are part of your team? I know you said, kind of interviewed folks across the space, but at these levels, again, for us, at least I consider personally anything below, 10 mil still a micro cap, nano cap is like sub mil maybe, right? But
Yeah.
like, how did you find consummate professionals to work with in this space? Because again, the reason why we're having this conversation and the reason why we're focusing here is because we like what you guys are doing and we appreciate what you're doing as a professional, right? So how did you find other people like that in a sea of scams? I mean, this is a sea of scam projects. So I'm just really curious on that journey to just kind of elaborate a little bit.
Ancient Chinese secret. I call it the Drew method. and I don't even know if Drew's here. What the hell's going on with Drew? I'm gonna punch him in his face.
It's a secret. He can't be shown.
Can't even tell. Yeah, he's our secret weapon. It really is. It stems down to when you find a relationship with somebody. And I mean, I don't mean just like a fleeting relationship. Oh, like, hey, what do you do? Oh, I do crypto. Oh, great. Let's partner up. Right. It's you find a common thread with somebody. Like the first real thread that I found was with Rip. And we just started talking, and it was about martial arts, and it was just something to that point. I didn't even know if I wanted to be in this industry to the level that I wanted to be into it until I met Rip, because it was, he has highest integrity, one of the other people in my life that I feel that has the highest integrity like I do. And we matched that, and we just kind of kept with that. When I found Rip, it sort of gave me the idea, okay, now I can do this. I already have another good friend of mine is Amy. She's my right hand person in my life. We've made multi-million-dollar businesses together, so I already knew I had her support. But I really needed to find two or three other people. When I found Drew, I found him to be one of the hardest working people, and I used him as the litmus test for everybody at that point. Everybody after Drew was just like, can they work as hard as Drew? If they can, great, keep them in. If they can't learn how to work as hard as he's doing, then maybe something else is for them later. And then just build relationship. I taught the top 5 to build relationship with others. Find the real story, right? Don't just take people at face value. Now we got to find the real story. We got to create relationship. So we met Shane from Memezilla, and he's got a lot of projects over there. And that is more like the net gathering mentality. But I started to mark down things and how people talked and what they did. If you come to me and you try to shill something, and again, it's experience over expose, right? So you hear the things, you hear the old ways of people talking, like I'm the best programmer ever. You kind of shuck those people to the side, right? To shill or shuck. That's the biggest thing for most people. And so what I found is the people that you could hear the sincerity in their voice, they're probably 99% real at that point. That 1% that can kind of fake it and fake sincerity, yeah, they'll figure this way out because they can never prove what they do. They can never show up for the consistent value of it. But when you find somebody who's sincere, when you find somebody who has the rights mentality, even if they don't have all the experience, because you can give them experience, right? So, but you got to be open for that. So how we found everybody is this trial and error, work and find the people, see who works, see who doesn't. We went overseas for our programming, big mistake. We went local now with Hello Moon here just recently. We have to see how that relationship's going to come out. So when we build these relationships, we build on them community wide. We shake the tree a lot. We give people whatever they need. And if they don't use it, they don't use it. And it'll shake itself out, so you bring in people, you talk to them, you be real, and you just work. Our chart says it all. I mean, by the way, also, I don't know if you knew this. We're simulcasting on our TikTok and our YouTube channel at the same time. If you hit my PFP, you'll see both where they're at.
Okay.
And yeah, we had 9,500 subscribers on YouTube or on TikTok plus in there, a couple thousand, 1,000 or so on TikTok or on YouTube as well. So, we're recording this as well for our prosperity, and, everything you're saying, we're going to put out in little mini skits to put out there, which we appreciate you letting us do tonight. But when we have this energy of people that are just with us, it's amazing. And just this collaborative that we're doing tonight, this wasn't planned like 6 months, right? This was like a 2 or 3 day ago thing, right? Like we should do this. And that's what I love about this space is like you think it, you concept it, you build it, and you distribute it, in that fashion. And when you got a good team like you have, you can build and do anything and get anything out there.
Well, we really appreciate that, and likewise. We kind of have our own, Drew method there per se, but it's hard. It's honestly hard. Any team that tells you it's easy, oh well, I've been working with these guys forever, I know they're all good, they're lying. Mm-hmm. Because this is a trial by fire industry. Things move 1,010 miles per hour. I don't know why I added the 10, but the 10 needs to be there. There's also a lot of people in this space, and Moon Daddy were just talking about this last couple of days, that they put on one face, and then when profits start coming in, they turn the other, right? Mm-hmm. So money does some crazy things to people, especially when there's the anonymity of the blockchain and behind a computer screen and all of that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you put people through tests. And that's something that we love to do here, right? So talking a little bit about our story, just briefly, is, we never put too much power in the hands of people that we're just meeting, especially if they're integral to the team. You test them. and you give them opportunity to mess up on that test, right? And this isn't something we created. It's very, very common thing, but it has proven itself, and it's saved us a ton of money. It's saved us a ton of problems, and we now have a team that is absolutely bulletproof, right? The mods you see in the chats, the core team members we have, these are incredible people that are here not just, when we've done thousands of X's or whatever, but are here even during the hard times when questions need to get answered, when we're, grinding. So, I didn't even know this was recorded like that, and I love that because hopefully someone can pick up something, from this space and be like, yeah, I was apprehensive about getting into crypto because maybe my cousin or my brother got scammed and I don't want to lose hundreds of dollars. That's a lot of money to me, or thousands even, whatever. Well, this is this is your nudge right here on election day. Um, this is your nudge to say, just do it, get in, but just be cautious about the people you trust with your funds. That's the biggest thing. Be cautious of the people you trust with your funds, and hopefully you can take a little bit of a chance on us. I don't want to speak for you guys, but suffice to say, based on what you're hearing here, a lot of similarities. Even if you don't buy anything, it would be almost a disservice not to join each other's telegrams. Please check that out. Get a vibe. See how you think. And I think it'd be awesome. So this is great, man. This is great. But hey, I would be remiss not to bring it back to your experience, all the years in radio. Is there a secret plan to tie any of that in or past business work into what you're doing right now? Is it already interwoven within? What does that look like?
Again, it is all down to the Slumdog Millionaire kind of mentality. Everything I've done is now in. We ran Spaces. Drew and I ran the Mad Spaces for a little while. And in fact, when we were cutting our teeth on building relationship, we ran Spaces and offered Spaces to people of all the different coins we were bringing into the community. And I would go in and I would do like we're doing right now. I would be in what your spot is, right? I would be the host of that, and Drew would be my straight guy, like Moon Daddy, right? I even know Moon Daddy could be his own host at that level as well, and I know Drew can as well. But in the radio side of it, what I learned from there, when I first started that network, I had a single station. It was internet radio. Yes, it was in my mother's basement. Okay, my stepmother or my mother-in-law's basement. But when I built the second one out of somebody from Cherry Hill, New Jersey asked me to build them one. So I built them one. It sort of took off, and then I became very good at it. So I asked for a discount from the radio network that I used. And they're like, no discounts for more than two. We don't want to give you, these are expensive systems. And I went, I think I can find another place. And there was none. Nobody would give me a fucking discount. And the one guy said to me, well, go build your own shit then. And I went, okie dokie. So I spent 6 months learning how to do it. And I started building my own radio network. I learned a lot of C++. I learned a lot of JavaScript, learning how to put all the internet radio streaming systems on board. I invented some streaming systems that Centivo Cast used for a very long time. And then I just started to cut my teeth on, what does it look like to build an empire? 3,600 radio stations later, we got to a point where we had millions of people on our lines every day. We had 360 different hubs that were out there with 10 radio stations of different genres. We had 42 million songs in the network. So when it came to building, I was addicted. So yes, to use my experience would be almost an insult to everybody here. I better use all my experience. I expect everybody here to use their experience, everything they got, into the world. Now, I went from that into advertising and marketing. I worked at TradingView for 4 years, so I learned all about building with Pine scripts and building indicators for them, being an analyst for them. I fell in love with Forex. I've been trading Forex for 20 years because I always do things overlapping. So I know I have to be 150 years old right now if I put them end to end. But I just got so much experience from the space of money and working with that. I worked with the State Department for a long time. So I knew the ins and outs of navigation, of investigation, which is another big thing. And then I just started putting it all together. When I got out of the industry in 2021, I opened up my dojo in Northeast PA. And I just said, you know what? I think I'm done. I'm done doing all the big giant things. I've done all that. Now I'm just going to sit back, relax, and teach people how to kick the shit out of other people. Not to that level, but and then something switched to me. My brother called me and he goes, hey, you ever hear of a meme coin? And I went, fuck you, and hung up. I didn't want to know. And he goes, I'm serious. You're the only one I know who could build big projects, and you gotta capitalize on this. And I'm like, man, you could take it, blow it up your ass. I don't want to get into anything that I got a PvP anymore. And he goes, we need you in here, man. You gotta do something. And so I went in, I investigated for 3 months. I opened up a couple coins. I helped people figure out coins. I offered my services. Every single one was a rugger. There were so many scams. I got so sick of it. And one day I said, look, if I'm going to do this, then we're going to do it my way. We're going to go and we're going to find some people that we can trust. We're going to build relationship. We're going to build a system first before we build a coin. We're going to see if it's usable. We're going to find a pathway. And if it wasn't for Rip in one of the meetings that we had, our college system was going to be called Trader Max's University of Learning for Crypto. And I was like, I was proud of that, because that's the old way of doing it. And he's like, man, nah, we got to come up with something else. Let's make it something, with your experience behind it. And I taught Yaedo. I still teach Yaedo. I'm a second degree black belt in Yaedo, which is quick draw sword. And I studied for a year and a half in Japan. And it just fit. It just fit. This has to be it. We came up with Crypto Ronins as the first one, just to kind of build the Ronin mentality. And then we turned it into Shogun because they needed a space to live. This is not just an ecosystem. This is a shogunate. This is a kingdom where people of all coins can come, not just our people and our coins, but all coins can come and live and build relationship. Use the tools, use the forge, use the foundry, use these tools and feel safe, be under the protection and that guise of who Shogun is. And if that's any story there, it's all my experiences. It's me, Max, the 7th degree black belt in Kempo, the radio guy, the marketing dude, the game builder. I'm a game dev. I know C++. I build everything in Unreal Engine. Our game network I could talk about for hours. So the experience, you better use grab the fucking kitchen sink. Plumbing experience from the Navy. I was in the Navy for 16 years while all this was still happening. So yes, I'm using every bit of experience I have. This is my last rodeo. When I say my last one, I want this one to be a 50-year rodeo, but this is my last rodeo. I will stay with just teaching martial arts, not that this would ever fail, but I want this to be such a success I can turn this into generational. And just my son's involved, my family's involved, everybody's involved. Now I have all these great people, and that's the story.
Man, I feel like I'm talking to like the Web3 version of Joe Rogan at another level on on the crypto side. This is awesome. No, this is awesome. No, I'm genuinely no, seriously though. I mean, I listen to him all the time, so that's a compliment for sure. But damn, this is awesome, guys. Okay. Few different things. When it comes to kind of, bringing people together, right? Like having all that experience. Also, this is something important. Why I asked that before was, the experience in doing this in the crypto space, because I've seen incredible people who have amazing skill sets, and this is their first project. And it's like, you're bound to make mistakes. So a really important thing just came out that, this isn't your first rodeo. You know how to do this. You've been through the scams. This is the project that, is the culmination of all of understanding in Web3, but also your own experience. So that's huge. That's huge. But I did want to ask, as far as, the kind of core community that you grew from a pre-sale, how does that work? Because like most people getting into a pre-sale, I mean, they're there purely just for a 2x, right? So did you do it friends and family? Did you how do you get those same people now into a token early?
So it all falls back down what I said originally, relationship. You have to build relationship. You have to have those people that that are your core, and you have to take inventory. Bob, how much money you got? I have $700. Great. Well, that'll buy you this amount of Shogun. Great. So here's the thing. If you do it, Bob, you got to stay with us. You can't sell, not for a little while. In fact, you got to wait for a revenue share. That's the only way you're going to make money. Consider your coin your ticket. Yes, great. He's in. And then you get someone like Rip, who has like 47,000 fucking friends, So, and they all trust him and he trusts them, and they become some of our holders. And you get people like Shane, who know everybody, and he has people that he trusts, and I have people. So when I tell you that we own 80%, that is true to a point. We own, and I should say, I own 80%. So when I say
Oh,
I'm the only one who controls the 52 wallets that holds that 80%. The other, Rip and Andrew and the top 5 and the top 20, the diamond holders, the diamond ballers, they own almost all of the rest except for 4%. So that's a bit of a shocker, isn't it? So
yeah,
when
no, that's huge.
Yeah. So when I say that our trend is not fake, none of this stuff is fake, it's real. It's because the coin is just the ticket to ride, to be a part of it. And when we stop out, when we get to that 125, you better believe there's a waiting list. But this isn't the only thing to be a part of. We have the NFT system firing. We have Shogunix.io, which is our DEX screener meets community network extraordinaire. We have the game network, which is 3 levels of the marketplace, the village where you can buy land, and the cultivation where you fight all the enemies. That's all there. These are things that are there. Remember when I said beginning that there's 3 parts: the conception, we call it the tri-phase: conception, production, and distribution. We never talk about anything we don't have in production. That's the one trick. So the trick for pre-sale was to let people know what the plan is, because it's already started. It's not like, hey, this is what we're going to be in the future. It's already what we are now because we've already started the foundation. So pre-sale only works, though, if you have that kind of relationship. You just can't go out on Twitter and be like, hey, everybody go buy this coin here and you get in early, because that's when the 2x happens. You have to have control of it. Not every coin does that. So some coins I've told, go get control. If you got to relaunch, relaunch. But relaunch in the mentality of getting the relationship, building the trust, and making sure that you have the plan past it. If there was one thing I learned in all of this, my man, was that if you don't have a foundation, your coin goes up to 40 million, 30 million, 10 million, whatever it is. It does not matter unless you have a true foundation: your website, your SOPs, your communication, your, hey, what the fuck if something goes wrong? SOP network, what happens if the house catches fire, the main guy leaves, or whatever happens. If you don't have a plan during that executional phase, when you do hit that number, it's going to fall back to wherever you're planned at. So if your foundation is 200,000, like ours, if everybody were to leave right now, I'd be at 500,000, right? Easy. Now everybody in front of me could leave and I'd still be at 500,000, because I personally own coin as well. So not above the 80, I own personal coin as well. So I would be at 500,000 easy. Where would anybody else be? They'd be at 1,500 or 15,000 at a point if they have a burn level in there. So the concept is always plan for your foundation to grow, and always try to be around 25% of what your top line is. So if you're sitting at a million, then you should at least, if things were to go wrong, it would never fall back down to more than 750,000. So in my eyes, it's always planning for your foundation to be grown. So I'm sorry, I'm blabbering on because I love this program so much. I apologize.
No, no, this is hey man, when I can enjoy a space again after talking for 4 hours straight, literally interviewing projects, that means it's a solid space. Not because of me, but because of conversation. So this is fantastic,
Appreciate it.
man. So I love that. And accountability, like that's a huge one for me. It sounds like it is for you as well.
Yes.
Knowing that you can point to a team, point to even an individual, like you said, and said, that guy owns the majority of the supply. If something funny happens, that's the dude. First of all, that is not something to take lightly. That's a massive risk to put on yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the proper person behind the helm, then it's not. It's responsibility. So that's big. Quick little question on that though.
Sure.
How are you securing that supply? Are we talking multi-sig with someone outside of the crypto? So like what does that look like?
So we've looked at all different types of ways, and when and we there was this commercial a long time ago, and I'm sorry to analog back to this, but it was on television. The big thing where you kind of click at it. And it was this guy, he was typing on his computer, and they made their first website. And he's like, look, we made the website. And it went go live. And it's like, and they all went, yay. And then they got their first sale and they went, yay. And then they got their third sale and they went, yay. And then they hit it again. It was 300 sales. And it went, oops, got shipping. That's what happened to us on the day of our release. I had 83% of the supply, and it was all in one wallet. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh boy. I grabbed my son. I said, hey, look, you need to go. We talked to Drew. I talked to Rip. We came up with a plan. I was making wallets in Phantom as fast as I possibly could, but then I had to stop because that's not all secure. And with the web being the way it is, they're like, you got to get a ledger. We got to get all these tools. I sent to my son, here's a place you got to go. It's a secure place. Yes. And it's a very secure network that it was on. I said, I need to go get three ledger systems. They were $150 a piece. And he comes back and he pops them in my office and I unfold them all. And I just start making wallets. And I start transferring, 2 or 3, 4% to each wallet. And it was hours and hours. Now, the great thing about ledgers, the beautiful thing about ledgers, no matter if somebody were to attach, you could give them the keys to it. You could say, here's the key to a ledger, right? Not to the ledger itself, but to the wallet. You can give them even the private key. They can't remove anything unless they have that ledger in their hand. Does that make sense? You know about this, right? It's security.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. No. It's very important.
Right.
Like physical ownership to
Correct.
be able to have the last verification. Yep.
Yes. So, and I know. See, everybody's like, oh, you got to be careful because somebody could break in your house. And they're absolutely right. If somebody wanted to really research me and find me out and do all this other kind of stuff, and I'm saying this out loud too, right? But I'm not being threatening. And I'm not saying anybody come and challenge us either, right? We are a house full of black belts in this network. And I was in the military for a very long time, and I wasn't I wasn't a yeoman. Let's just say that, right? In the Navy. I was a fighting Seabee, so I'm pretty sure I have myself covered with that side of it. But we also have a gun safe that the ledgers sit in. And when I say a gun safe, I'd say a very big gun safe. So think what else is in there besides my ledgers. And it's a pain in the ass sometimes because I bring out a ledger at night and during the morning when I get up, and then I got to go back in because we have some wallets that don't move, right? So I keep them all in the ledger, so we never move them. And I have one ledger that we move back and forth, our trading wallet, all that kind of stuff. But the security of all that is there. Now, the good part about that is I know me. If anything happens to me, I have a backup plan for my son. He gets access to everything, and then he transfers information over to everybody else from that process. You never know. You get hit by a falling dove in the air or whatever. Die by a very bad cause of whatever happens. But or even if I get sick or something happens. So it's all there. So we have contingency plans. We have security. One thing I have taught a lot of people is for a very long time, even before Web3, is don't click on shit. Right? If you're gonna watch porn, watch it on something else, right? But don't watch it on the computer you work from, right? If you're gonna be clicking on different things, and don't trust anybody. Verify everything. If somebody DMs you, go back to where you met them and go in there and look. Because there are so many creative little assholes out there in the network. So long story short, I use ledgers. I use multiple 52 wallets. So how impossible it would be to bundle anything fast enough, with putting in your PIN code and bundling it over. It's damn near impossible. I didn't do that to protect the wallet from me. I did that to protect the wallet from anybody. If we do ever lose anything, it would only ever be 1% at any one time at this point. So it's a pretty good system we got.
I love it. I'm just hearing again the things I look for in projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise, guys, I don't own a bag of this project. This is my first time, honestly, really taking a deeper dive. That's why I'm enjoying this so much. But I love redundancy, accountability, structure. It sounds like a real professional team is running this project. Again, these are the things that I like to see in projects. This is why I work, as one of the founders of Culo, because we take our professional mindset into things, and when you see it, you recognize it in other projects too, right? So,
of course, yeah.
This is awesome, man. Well, hey, we're coming on just about an hour here. I think we'll go ahead and kind of bring it to a wrap so we can fret over the TV screens and look at the poll results
You
soon.
got it.
But but hey, this I learned a lot, and not just from a project side, but also from a person side of things, right? I feel like I know you more, and knowing your role within the project, I feel like that's time very well spent. I hope everyone here feels the same. Again, you have two really special projects here. We're not gonna, pat ourselves on the back too much, but we've been around. It's for you guys to check out. I think you'd really like what you're hearing. I got to say though, on the Shogun side, I'm really impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, seriously though, like Moon Daddy's been talking my ear off about this project. He said, I'm so happy we have him as a partner. I think we're going to be able to build long term and really do some cool stuff. There's a reason why we listed you guys on Culo Swap. Please, guys, as you're buying your Shogun, we'd love for you guys to use, our router there with Culo Swap, be a huge help. And we'll also make sure to do some nice buyback and burns of your native token as well with the
Awesome.
fees that are generated. But this is a great conversation. It's definitely not going to be the last. And I just want to say a big thank you. But one question, probably the most important one, and this does involve Shiny D. When are you going to jump in the ring and get into karate combat? Big question. Have you heard about karate combat? Maybe you start there.
Wait, were you talking to me about karate combat?
Yes, yes, because we just saw a fight that no, Shiny D's gone. That was terrible
Oh
timing.
no.
He just won a fight in karate combat. It's
Oh, you
mixed
did?
martial arts fighting, crypto combat. But I'll ask you, just focused on you. Would you ever fight in karate combat? Because Moon Daddy fought in it, Shiny D fought in it. It just seemed right to ask.
So is it? I don't know anything about it, and excuse my ignorance, but is it a real life combat situation, or
Oh
is it just?
yes, oh yes. In fact, why am I talking about Moon Daddy? Tell him a little bit about karate combat.
Sure, sure. Yeah, Karate Combat. I was fortunate enough to be in the first fight. It's called IFC. It's a subdivision of
Mhm.
Karate Combat. Karate
Right, right.
Combat is sponsored by Hedera, and IFC is Influencer Fight Club. And George from Cryptos R Us is kind of the one of the ringleaders of it, and
Right,
he's
right, right.
really expanded upon it. But yeah, the back of my head is still telling me because it get bounced off the mat a few times. It's telling me it's definitely combat. It's definitely hand to hand combat, and it's real
Right, right.
physicality. But no, it was a great way for us to really get exposure for Kulo, and we really exploded after that experience. But yeah, man, it's a real event, and now a lot of devs, a lot of founders are fighting each other in karate combat, and it's great exposure. They're partnered with UFC. They have the who's who of
Right.
all contact sports involved. So yeah, it's a real thing. And Adam read my mind. I was going to ask too because of you guys' background. He beat me to it, but that was my next question.
Well,
Was you guys
that's a
who are
that's
we
a
getting signed up for karate combat, baby?
right, right. Well, first off, I've seen my fair share of real combat in life, so I don't mind. I spar with my students all the time in a sort of rice paper kind of mentality. It's more about the speed and function of things for me. I teach Kempo, which is legacy Kempo, so I'm not teaching like dime store karate where kids come in and they're just punching a bunch of soft stuff. I'm teaching the efficacy of real movement and mechanics of structure and stuff. I would love to, but again, I also have to be careful. I've been ridden and put away wet a few times, so a few special hits to the head could make that maybe a little harder for me to code the next day, kind of mentality. But
For sure.
I'm all for all kinds of things. I'm turning 55 tomorrow, so I'm not really old, but it's something that I would look into and see if I can get into. I am still pretty fast for who I am nowadays, but I think I would probably leave that more to my son, who's just got his second degree black, and is just itching to kind of let go on a few things. So maybe we'll get Quentin into the process, the trader Quentin in there, and
I think it just makes perfect sense with the name, right? Shogun, karate combat. Um, I think
they
I'm
happen all over the
advocating. I'm
place.
advocating now.
There you go. There you go.
Well, you know what? It would be our honor, Trader Max. even if you just want to come out as a spectator ringside, like we've been many times, we have pretty good access to all the Karate Combat events, ringside, in the ring, everything around the ring.
Oh, sweet.
So we would love to have you out. They're all over the U.S. We're actually, funny enough, did not plan the segue at all. I promise, guys. Sometimes it just happens. We're actually sponsoring a fighter in the next Karate Combat, Doodlegenics. We're going to be sponsoring him. He's going to be throwing on the Culo brand. I was supposed to save that as alpha. It came out. So there you go. But for real, man, I feel like we're already going to be friends on the project side and also
Oh, yeah.
outside. So please, if you're ever around, we'll make sure to let you know about the events. We'd love to come out, do some cross promo, and
Now,
get the brand back right.
where are you guys housed at? Is there like a central housing you have, or are you in a particular area of the country?
The Kulo's pretty global, I'll say.
Okay.
We're an IRL brand, so we're
Mhm.
all over the place. But our home base is pretty much Miami, Florida. That's where we
Okay,
did
cool.
our first Kulo takeover. I'm based out of the Boca area, so about an hour north of Miami. Moon Daddy based out of Texas, but also right now in Brazil.
Mhm.
So we're
That's cool.
definitely a global team. But I don't know if you're on the East Coast, West Coast, but
Yeah,
we'll find
I'm
something.
I'm in Northeast Pennsylvania, or I keep saying
Okay,
Northeast, it's like
yeah.
Northeast Philly. It's like we're Yardley area,
Wow.
East Pennsylvania.
You got to be
Okay.
tough to come from there, guys. I played for the Steelers a couple of years, right? So I know the area,
Right.
and yeah, I met some real guys there. And, befriended a lot of them. So you got to be a real one coming from that side of the country. And, much
Yeah,
respect, by the way.
we've seen
Much
our fair
respect.
share of things in the fight
Yeah.
world, and I'm not. I have about 300 tournaments underneath me when I was back in the day when I was young, dumb, and still full of some other stuff. But nowadays,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sort of in defensive mode, not attack mode. But I will definitely fair share my
Right.
own. But
Same
it's
here,
all
bro.
good.
Same here.
I
Hey,
love it. I love
also,
it.
I saw Brett Gold is a partner with the swap as well, a whitelisted partner.
Oh, sweet.
Did you guys wanna step up to the mic for a second? I know we're about to conclude, but I don't mind going a couple more minutes if Brett Gold
Oh
wants to
no,
come up to the mic.
Yeah, I'm cool
I'd
too.
love to. It's funny. We're taking on like a real kind of combat sport infused sort of vibe because Brett
Right?
Gold, obviously supported by NFT Kid, very very well known in the space on the
Ass kicker.
combat
An
side.
ass kicker. All around ass kicker right
Oh
there.
yeah.
He is. He definitely is. He definitely is. So yeah, Brett Gold. If you're free, if you wanna bring that beautiful gold face up here, please feel free to. Just get that request, and if you're not available, no problem. But wanted to make sure, yeah, we get that invite out there. But guys, the vibe is super good. Again, um, Shiny D's the bringer of levity. That's his official title. But hopefully, in general, this race brought a little bit of levity to the stress and craziness of the day, which I'm sure we're going to jump back into soon. But the common themes here were friendship, accountability, discoverability, and the future of what that looks like for new people and for folks in deep in the space. So hopefully you learned something. I definitely did. I know I'm going to be checking out Shogun quite a bit more now. I'm going to jump into the TG right now after this,
Get your ass in
see
there,
what's
boy.
up there. Yeah, I know. Seriously, I've been so caught up. I'm like, okay, I got to check this out.
Right?
I got to check this out. So hopefully you guys will do the same thing with Kulo as well. Again, we
Absolutely.
dropped thank you, man. We dropped a couple, teasers on the combat side. We are going to be sponsoring a fighter. I'm not going to say exactly two more of the details. If you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you didn't. But come check us out. And I think with that, we'll wait. Hold on.
No, Brett
Brett
Gold
Gold's
has a
Brett
mic.
Gold's here. Brett Gold, how you doing? What's up?
Hey, how you doing, my guys? Who's behind the Kudo account?
Me, Adam, VC Adam. What's up?
Hey, Adam, how's it going? Moon Daddy, everybody, and the speaker panel. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Do you
Wonderful.
usually do the Brett Gold voice? Is that you that normally does that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be behind now. Yeah, for I guess forever. That's my job now. That's my role now.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, you have a legendary, memorable voice in this space because everyone knows you as the Brett Gold voice, which is hilarious. So, um, happy to
I
have you, man.
have I have Brego Raw here too. What is he doing here? I didn't invite him, but he's here too.
Oh, Okay. Well, happy to have him. Well, you know what?
Yeah,
As
no, I just wanted to say congratulations. I was you know, it took me by surprise. The Kulo swap. The other day, we were with Keith, right? In the spaces, and then Kulo said, "Hey, we have a Kulo swap for you guys too, including Bread Gold." And I was like, "Oh, it happened so quick." Like I'm trying to, invite my community to use the swap, and yeah, little by little, like people are gonna come here because, like I said, I love meeting new communities, cross pollination. We're here to make it together. Why not? Why not us? That's our slogan that we go by, and we are Bread Gold, the communities. You guys are gonna see us, around. We're not going anywhere. I mean, we know where we're going. We'll go to the billion, and that's it. My guys, thank you for the invite, and yeah, this is great spaces. Thank you.
appreciate you, man.
Hey,
Appreciate you.
thank you,
All
bro.
right.
Thank you.
Well, among friends here, guys, among friends, we appreciate it. Again, guys, core things to look at today: Shogun, look at Kulo. Check out Bread Gold as well. They're all friends of the project now and have been, and we've been working to build these friendships. So make the most of them, right? When someone does the work to bring high quality things in front of you, you should look at them, but always vet them. Always vet them. Exactly as Trader was saying, right? Vet things. Trust but verify is the common phrase. It's true, and we hope that you can verify all of us and see what we've been doing, and maybe find your next project, guys. So we're gonna bring today to a close. Again, just a huge thank you to Trader Max and the Shogun team, as well as surprise, guest appearance by Brett Gold. Really nice to have you. Any final words that you wanted to share with the people, Trader Max?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thank you so much for having us here and come up with the idea for this mutual space. It was amazing. I feel like I dominated most of it, but really do appreciate because it shows your level of professionalism. You and Moon Daddy are awesome. As everybody's here, if you go into a space, you should like and follow everybody. When you find a space that has this much power in it with so many people in here, it's just awesome people. You can just look down and see all of our guys like Doc Liberty and everybody else who has the PFPs on. Beans and Baloney, love to see you in here. OG, great. And make sure you follow Kulo and Moon Daddy as well, because when these guys do the work that they do to put out the information for you guys, it works for everybody. For us, for them, we're going to be recording all this. It'll be on my YouTube channel. We'll also power off a few things for Brett Gold and do some other things too, and put some videos out in our TikTok. But I want to thank you guys for having us here today. But remember one thing: with all the stuff that's happening in the world, with red or blue or whatever side you choose, okay? If you already know how to swim, don't worry which way the river bends, okay? Just get in and swim. Get in this network and kick ass. No matter if it's red or blue that wins up tonight, you will be just fine because you're fighters. Okay? If you got the fighter mentality in you, if you got right and honor standing on your side, then just build. Build and be trustworthy, be empathic with what's out there. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Worry about your own journey. And I think that's my biggest advice I can give everybody here today. Because when you do have that, this is the kind of success you get. The Kulo brand, the Shogun brand. And I think that's really where we're at. And even Brett Gold brand from what I've heard.
Well,
Amazing, amazing
yeah, I just
words of
had some
wisdom. Go ahead.
in VC. I just wanted to close out, with Trader Max and Rip and the entire, Shogun team. Man, it's refreshing to see and hear the professionalism and the transparency. Uh, it's rare. It's just rare in this space, and it's more encouraging. It gives me, encouragement to continue on, with the pace that we run. We do this every day. This is what we do. We do this. That's part of what we talk about and being more
Mm-hmm.
than a meme. IRL in real life marketing, and collaborating with projects that are serious, right? It's clear, right? It's clear. If you had any question before, Shogun is the real deal. Please check these guys out. Please check them out, because if you don't, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. Check these guys out. What they're building, what they're doing is needed in this space. We Adam and I, we see a lot of projects. This Adam just, and shout out to VC Adam. I don't think everybody really understands this. This man just did 4 hours on his show, right? 4 straight hours of talking, right? A one man show, and he jumped right in here within 2 seconds and had to start talking again. That's the commitment that you're getting from the Culo team. And we wanted to really highlight a project that
You're here.
is in line, right? These you know, you have a few bucks, put you know, drip a few dollars in, right? And let them continue to earn your money. But get into good projects. Don't just chase candles because you're going to get burned. You're going to get burned chasing candles. Get into projects and invest, and you don't have to be, you know, a nonstop trader, right? Have some conviction plays, and Shogun is a conviction play, guys.
Thank you.
Boom, guys. Again, value, 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 value of time, value of investment, value of connections. Hopefully that trifecta is resonating, guys. And just, piggybacking off of what Moon Daddy was saying, it doesn't even feel like we had an hour long conversation. It feels like it was maybe like 15 minutes because I enjoy this. I genuinely enjoy this. I've had conversations that have only been 15 minutes that feel like an hour. Those suck. We've all had those. This was not that.
You've been talking to my ex-wife again, haven't you?
Nah, we've all had that experience in some capacity in our life, right? So, um, guys, again, thank you so much for spending the time with us. Invest your time, invest your money, invest your connections again in people you trust, in communities that can earn that trust and show it day in and day out. I think we got a whole lineup of them today, guys. So thanks so much. We're going to close it out. Again, stay safe out there on election day. No matter who wins, just be there for each other, and everything will be all right. Just as Trader was saying. So we'll see you in the next one. It definitely won't be the last. Learned a lot. I'm going to jump right into that TG right now. So go check it out, guys. Thanks.